Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. It's the 18th of October, and on this Wednesday we have Kelvin Wong, Senior Market Analyst at Awanda, as our guest today, coming out from Singapore. Now, Kelvin, it's always great to have you on the show.
Hi, as usual, my pleasure, Brian. Great speaking with you again, and happy Wednesday today instead of Friday.
Now, Kelvin, before we get your insights, we're going to take a look and see how markets across the region have
Sure.
performed. But first, we're going to look at how cryptocurrencies look like. So Bitcoin is now trading at around 28,752. It's up 2%. Ethereum is at 1,577. It's down 0.66%. Now, looking across to Asian stock markets, we start with the Straits Times Index. That's down 0.64%. Across the region then, Bursa Malaysia is down 0.1%. Shanghai is down 0.62%. The ASX All Ordinaries is up marginally 0.17%. The Nikkei is down 0.02%. The Hang Seng is down 0.1%. And rounding up the numbers, we've got the Kospi, which is up it's now down 0.01%. So largely down markets across the region. Kelvin, tell us why.
Okay, so the reason over here right now today is especially for the Asia stock market. Right now, we see a kind of a lackluster movement on the risk side of the story, which is represented by the equity side, is due to the fact that despite today we start to see a much more upbeat key economic data out from China, where Q3 GDP managed to beat expectation, industrial production also beat expectation, and most importantly, the retail sales actually accelerated further, close to about a 5-month high at 5.5% year on year for September. That big expectation of 4.9%. But however, there's still a canary in the coal mine, which is the China property developers market that is still a concern to market participants, especially today. One of the key players, which is Country Garden. For those who don't know what is Country Garden, or who is Country Garden? So Country Garden is in fact the biggest private China property developer in China, which has the highest amount of we call it housing development projects spread throughout the different provinces of China. So today they do have actually a grace period that is due exactly today for a overdue coupon dollar bond payment that is amounting to 15.4 million USD. So as of now, it seems to us that there is no signs of what I call a possibility of a restructuring of this 15.4 million, or any we call it a media report that coming out that they are actually paying some partial payment of this overdue interest payment of 15.4 million. So if this particular grace period that's being lapsed by the end of today business hour in China, there could it actually technically trigger a default clause for this we call it overdue interest payment. So technically that means we are talking about a default on Country Garden. So that actually could increase the systematic risk in China. So that actually pretty much explain why the lackluster movement in the Asia benchmark stock indices, and primarily also the China we call it CSI 300, and as well as the China proxy like the Hang Seng Index, which still marginally trading in the red right now.
Now, Kelvin, then what data points and key events that we should be looking out for the rest of the week that perhaps could move markets?
Okay, so for today, right, some of the key data interesting point we look out for, if for those who are pretty much looking at the FX market, actually primarily involved in the sterling pair, will be UK inflation rate. So UK inflation rate is up today at 2 p.m. Singapore time. So market is expecting another, we call it a slowdown on inflationary growth or pressure in UK, where market is expecting the core inflation to come down at 6% year on year. So that's close to about 1.5 year low, below 6.2% year on year printed in August. So if this core inflation continue to inch much lower within market expectation, or even way below market expectation, that could actually put further pressure on the sterling dollar. So one of the key economic data point to watch out for today And going forward, later on in the US session, we have another key data out will be the housing data. So housing data right now in US that is kind of lackluster in the last 2 or 3 months due to the fact that we now start to see higher interest rate pressure start to actually creep into the housing market. And also, do not forget over here is that now is at we call it the start of the all important Q3 US earnings season. So today, later on, at the close of the US session, okay, at the start of the US session, you have the last of the major US bank titans to report their Q3 earnings will be Morgan Stanley. And most importantly, at the end of the US session today, you have a Netflix as well as Tesla, which in the last few months has seen their market cap weights increases in the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. So right now they are in fact the top. Tesla is the top 5 component stock inside these two key benchmark US indices, which is the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. So potentially, it could be a bit much more of a volatile session in the US benchmark stock indices for today as the Tesla earnings looms ahead.
Now, as always, Kelvin, thank you very much for your insights. Thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Brian.
Now, we've been speaking to Kelvin Wong, Senior Market Analyst at Awanda, on BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. This video and podcast will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.